saw somebody. I opened my eyes briefly, just kind of for a second, and somebody was staring right over me, like looking right at me. And I screamed like this, like, like that, really loud, like screamed. I was so fucking frightened, and I was shaking. I was so scared, okay? And I opened my eyes up, and there was nobody there. And so I was so scared, I didn't even want to look out from under the covers because I was turned towards the wall and not behind me towards the door. And I was like afraid to look. And so finally I looked, and there was nobody there, of course. The alarm was still set. And so I knew nobody was in the house or anything. And so I was like, what the fuck? And so I don't know if I had a premonition or what, but that's not the first time that's happened to me. It's happened to me like 2 or 3 times since I've owned this house. And I don't know if the house is haunted or if I'm just becoming clairvoyant or what is going on, but or if I'm just dreaming at all. I don't know what's happening, but it's extremely real, and it freaks the fuck out of me when it happens. I'm just like, what the fuck? So, and it was a man, and he was like real squat and kind of wide, and was wearing a plaid shirt, and was just looking at me, like staring at me. I can't really explain it over the air what he looked like in terms of how he was looking at me, but it was so fucking weird. And so, and I knew nobody was there because my dog, was lying. He looked up when I screamed or whatever, of course, and looked at me weird, but he was lying down on his bed on the floor, just lying there normal. So there was nobody in the house or anything. But yeah, anyway, so I just screamed like crazy. But that reminds me of a time when I don't know, I think I'm a little anxious because my husband Michael came home once in the middle of the day, and it's probably like noon or 1 or something. This is about 3 or 4 years ago from work, and he usually didn't come home during the day, and I was sleeping, and I didn't know that he was home, and he wasn't supposed to be home or whatever. And so the alarm, when the alarm first goes off, it goes beep, beep, like beep, it goes beep, like that, or it goes beep for a long time. And if it keeps beeping, then eventually somebody will turn it off if they come in the door, right? And it goes off, it goes beep, 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 and it turns it off, right? Well, this time it didn't do that. So the alarm actually went off. It goes big. So the alarm goes off, woo, 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 like that. The whole house was going crazy with the sirens. And I literally woke up from a dead sleep, and I started screaming. I go, like that. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was paralyzed with fear. I had these heavy pillows in my hands, like on either side of me. It was really weird. And Michael came in the room. He's like, it's just me. And he started cracking up because of how I looked. I was sitting straight up in bed with one pillow on my left hand and one pillow on my right hand, screaming at the top of my lungs. So anyway, I'm a little bit anxious anyway for some reason. I don't know why, but I am. So I think that maybe that has something to do with my premonitions or my clairvoyancy. Ken Bogle says, it was a process of sleep paralysis. A lot of people see the same squatted figure. Usually they say he sits on their chest and keeps them from moving and makes it hard for them to breathe. What do you mean it was a process of sleep paralysis? You're saying it was a ghost or something? Or what? Because I wasn't paralyzed. I wasn't paralyzed at all. I woke up and I saw somebody standing next to the bed when I briefly opened my eyes. And they were there bright as day. I mean, I just saw them standing there. So, and of course, when I opened my eyes again, they were not there. So I'm sure I was just seeing things. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself, because I don't want to know. If there's a ghost in here or something, they need to go the fuck away. Yes, I did wake up early. So what's your point? I'm trying to understand. Ken Boggle's saying something in the chat room to me. He's saying, no, you woke up early. Yes. What's your point? Because I don't understand what your altered state of consciousness. Lots of people see the same figure. I'll send you the picture. Okay. Well, maybe it's the same guy. So what does that mean that I see the figure like that? What are you saying? You're saying I'm seeing things? It's a psychological thing. Okay. You're saying it's a psychological thing. Got you. So you're saying it's not a ghost or something or an apparition. You're saying it's a psychological trick or something. Is that what you're saying? On my mind. I mean, obviously, I know it's normal. I mean, obviously it's not a real person, but I know that, but I don't know what you're trying to say. But anyway, okay, gotcha. Well, yeah, so it was freaky. So that's like the second or third time that's happened to me. But yeah, I'd like to hear more about that. The mind waking up before the body. Oh, interesting. Third of the world's populations have the same thing. No, I'd like to know more about that because I've never really researched it or looked into it or really, even Googled it. So if you have a name for it, you said, what did you call it? Sleep paralysis or something? I'm trying to go scroll up here. You said it was called, where is it? Process of sleep paralysis. So, yeah, of course anybody would freak out because, you're most vulnerable, in my opinion, in two places: in bed or in the shower. So, think about Psycho, right? Or when you're in bed, your defenses are down, and in the shower, you don't have much to protect yourself with except your naked body, I guess. And so I think I think that anybody would be, freaked out if they were in that situation or whatever. So let's go quickly down Twitter and see what's on my Twitter feed real quick, and then we'll call it a night. Anything on Twitter here? I don't see anything interesting so far. Oh, by the way, I want to say, what did I post on my personal Facebook page? I posted today something that, hold on a second. Wait, somebody just posted on here. Oh, here it is. Oh, Ken just posted it for me. Sleep paralysis. People either see squatted stout men on their chest or hags holding them down. Well, he wasn't holding me down. That's what I'm saying. He was at the side of the bed standing there, and he didn't look like that necessarily. He didn't look like a troll. He just looked like a man, like a short, fat man, sort of, and with a plaid shirt on. So, but I'll have to look into that, Ken. Thanks for sharing that with me. Anyway, let me log out of this real quick. Log into my personal Facebook page, and see. Let's see here. What did I post earlier today? I said, because I want to say exactly how I posted it. How do I go to my thing here? Homepage. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I posted. Oh, yeah. I was talking about the government shutdown. This is what I said. I said the government shutdown happened because the House is controlled by the greedy old plutocracy who care only about giving handouts to the corporations and never helping the citizens that put them there. Of course, the citizens that vote Republican are to blame. You get what you vote for. So that's what I posted on my personal Facebook page earlier today. I got a lot of likes from my friends and family and people about that. And I think it's very true. I think that, I don't think it is. I know it's true. I've always said, and you should listen to my shows if you haven't before, Republicans versus Democrats, or Republicans versus liberals, or conservatives. I think it was called Conservatives versus Liberals, I think. And it was from like a year or two ago I did it. And the show was all about the differences between conservatives and liberals. And one of the things that I said is a huge difference between the two is the fact that a conservative cares only about themselves. They care only about what's in it for them. They care only about what they can get out of this picture or out of a deal. They care only about their own self-interest, whereas a liberal cares about the well-being of everybody as a whole, of everybody as a collective whole, meaning whether that's healthcare for everybody or Medicare or whatever, or benefits for everybody or the same treatment of everybody in the same way, blah, blah, blah. And so there's a distinctly different way of thinking between these two factions. And so one of my favorite things is definitely a liberal, just as I am. I'm a liberal individual, unapologetically liberal. And I like that I'm liberal. And I think that, and I don't think that because I'm liberal, I don't think that I'm right because I'm liberal. I think that I'm liberal because I'm right. Meaning that if you have an island, I've always thought of it this way. Let's say you have an island of people, and on one side of the island you have conservatives, and the other side of the island you have liberals. And which side of the island do you think is going to live and survive? The side that only cares about itself, is only looking out for itself, and only cares about its own self-interest, and ultimately ends up eating each other or eating all the food for themselves and the rest of them starve out. Or the other side, the liberal side, where people actually look out for one another, they work together, they try to share as much as they can equally. That doesn't mean that some people don't have more or less. It means that they try to make sure everybody has enough, basically. And that's essentially the liberal philosophy that I have and share. And that is why liberalism will always survive, will always thrive, and will always win in the end, whereas conservatism will always lose ultimately. If you think back to all throughout time immemorium, and you look at conservatives versus liberals, at least in this country anyway, liberalism has always eventually won the fight. Always. It always has. And why? Because it's on the right side of history. It's on the right side of humanity, whereas conservatism, unfortunately, is not. So just wanted to say that. So that's all I have to say today about my favorite things. I thank you for listening to the show. If you want to find out more about me, once again, you can go to offlimitsshow.com. You can go to listen to my show on podcasts at iTunes and subscribe there. You can also listen on Spreaker.com, of course, and you can always email me if you have questions or want advice on something at info@offlimitsshow.com, and check me out there. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks, and you have a great night.
You're listening to Off Limits.